what are the different standards? So, oh, there we go. Very nice. That'll work. So the different standards, of course.
Yeah, now this was something, you know, we're all used to IEEE standards with numbers and alpha characters.
Yes.
And there's a lot more going on here, honestly, than I knew about.
Yes, there's quite a bit.
So, and it's interesting to see how they break it down.
Yes.
The different groups. So I guess you're going to start with IEEE 802.3 AF.
Yes, AF.
Yeah, we're going to not make any jokes.
Because it really is.
AF.
It really is AF.
AF.
No, so 802.3 AF is actually just the standard for regular PoE. Now, regular PoE, it requires 2 twisted pair. It actually is the alternative B. So that means that we have 2 twisted pair for data and 2 twisted pair for power. Yes. Now,
which is why DC cameras work on it.
the reason that they have so many different standards is because you can apply the different types of PoE at different power levels. Yes. And I'm going to say power levels because it's not just voltages and it's not just amperages, it's actually just wattage. They calculate the wattage. Right.
And the system's intelligent to determine which one to employ.
Yes, it is, which we'll actually get into how it does
that. And that's actually when you explained that to me.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Like, ooh, that's right up there with HDMI stuff.
Yeah, it is, exactly. So, the way that it works is 802.3 AF, which is just standardized PoE, which is an alternative B,
which we've been using since day one.
Which we've been using for a while, and that's what all of our cameras are here, of course. They require...
And most everybody on the...
They require, they supply at the powered device, the actual camera.
The port or the DVR.
Yep, so
the switch.
Yep, no, other side. So
the other side, the receiving...
Yep, the receiving device.
Receiving the power.
Exactly. So, and actually, this is a good way to actually, to say this. So, the PSE is the power supplying equipment. The PD is the powered device. So,
okay.
We're talking about the PD right now. So the PD, on the standard of 802.3 AF, it requires at least 12.95 watts at the powered device. Now, the nice thing about this standard is that it allows manufacturers to say, okay, I can operate at 12.95 watts. So then at the other side, they take that power. They know that they're going to have that much power at that side. Now, that doesn't mean that, of course, we have 12.95 watts coming out of the PSE, the power supplying equipment. That can increase because of distance.
Right.
Right? So that can increase all the way up to 15.4 watts. So, a lot of information with this, a lot of headroom. And actually, the headroom actually increases exponentially, if that's the correct term for that. Is it exponentially?
No, it's not exponentially, but it does increase as you go up.
Yes,
absolutely. And in fact, possibly in some cases substantially, but not exponentially.
Correct. Okay, that's probably the better way to look at it. So, that's 802.3 AF. That's what all of our standard PoE cameras are using, not the PTZ cameras, but the PoE cameras.
And standard for what you generally do for access points, VoIP devices, things like that.
Yeah.
So as an industry standard, that has been around pretty much as long as it's been PoE.
Yeah.
And it's still a good chunk of the products till we get to power-hungry devices.
Right. So, what we have after that, of course, is IEEE 802.3 AT. So this is, of course, like AT, like the Star Wars. Is Siri trying to talk to you?
Yeah, you heard whatever you said.
Well, whatever
like
it was.
Siri.
Yeah, there you go. So the 802.3 AT is not a Star Wars walker.
No, it's not an
AT-AT. That is the standard for what's colloquially known as PoE Plus.
Do we get B.A. Baracus with the AT?
I don't get that reference.
A-Team?
Yeah, sure.
Children.
Again, if it came out before I was born, I'm not gonna be able to.
I get it.
Granted, I know the A-Team. So, now PoE Plus is interesting because it still only requires 2 twisted pair, and it's only doing it the same way as the alternative B. It's using 2
bigger power supply.
Correct. It's just a bigger power supply. So now with 802.3 AT with PoE Plus, it now supplies up to 25.5 watts at the powered device. So now we can use a lot more power, right? For those larger devices at the other end.
More LEDs on the cameras, or possibly
PTZ,
motorized for PTZ.
Yep, yeah, or even for wireless access points, for the high-powered wireless access
greater
points.
Range.
Greater
like
range.
we did outside.
Exactly, yeah, over at the beach house. So, Now, of course, that also has a maximum output of 30 watts at the PSC, the power supplying device, or power supplying equipment. So again, over distances, that's only about 4.5 watts of difference between when it leaves it and when it goes out to the other side. Now, it does adjust itself based on the resistance of that line.
Yeah, we'll get to that because that was.
But we'll get to that. Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, we'll fly through the next two. So the next one is, of course, 802.3 BT. And it's not, that doesn't stand for Bluetooth, it's just BT. They just went ahead and honestly, I don't know exactly what that means. But
They're starting to run out of alpha characters.
Yeah, they actually have two 802.3 BTs. They're type 3 and type 4. So again,
and there's a substantial difference between them.
The standardizing system is actually kind of interesting. I don't know why they don't just pick one.
Because it ain't standardized.
It's not. Yeah, it's that whole flathead, Phillips head, Robert's head, all that kind of stuff, right?
BT3 and BT4.
Yeah.
Nope. Or BTA and BTB.
Nope. So what you have is, of course, is 802.3 BT, which is PoE++. These two different setups, the Type 3 and Type 4, are the newest. These are so new, they came out in 2018.
Well, now, you and I have already dealt with switches that are capable of supporting this.
Yes. So we're not using it yet, but this is where that 4P PoE comes from. So at that point, we are now requiring, the 4 pairs. We are now requiring, at Type 3, we're requiring at least 51 watts, so 51 watts worth of power at the powered device, 51. Because when they look at it, it's 5 and 1 on their side.
Okay.
Yeah, not 5 my side and 1, it's 5 and 1.
Okay.
Okay. As always, guys, if you have any questions, leave it down in the chat section over there, or if it's down in the comments below. So at this level, at 51 watts at the powered device, that's a lot of power. Because if you then convert that back over to, say, 12 volts, and then you do the math on that, you've got quite a bit of amperage to work with at the end of that line. And
it's the amperage that runs stuff.
Exactly. So that's at 51 watts, and then of course it's 60 watts at the output. And then Type 4 is 71.3 watts, a full 100 watts maximum output at the PSE.
Now, are these the switches that have the dual power supplies in them for supporting the...
Yes, these are the
a lot of juice in this.
Very large ones. Now, the really cool thing about this is that they actually call out use cases on this on PoE's website. They actually call out the use of it for charging laptops and powering flat screens.
Isn't that what Hdbaset was supposed to do back at the beginning?
Yes.
With 100 watts capability?
Exactly. So now, and actually, we're going to talk about the Hdbaset stuff because it's really interesting, and we'll definitely talk about that. So that's how it is actually going to get that much power across it, because it's using 4 pair across the category wire, and it's still able to get with differential power, and it's still able to get that high amount of data transferred all the way across.